Warning: the following content is satire and is for comedic purposes only. Any comments, past or present, do not represent our values. Some viewers may find the following offensive. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to TNN Central Division Rink-side Report. I already forgot the new title. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon. I'm joined with my brother, Cody. I introduced us this time. Getting better, trying to get better. Had to change the name, like I mentioned last episode. So hopefully this sticks around, and I've got my friend working on the artwork for it. So hopefully we'll be able to use that as the thumbnails and stuff to share the post.
Is your friend AI?
No. No.
I hear that AI person does a lot of artwork these days.
Yeah.
Not very good artwork. Okay.
No. So today we are here to basically talk about the trade deadline. I'm hoping to have this out by tomorrow, when the trade deadline is actually over. But my phone was blowing up today, so I figured it was a good day to talk about it. As far as a Jets fan, there's been fuck all. So I think you're probably going to be hearing mostly from Cody this episode, because I know Colorado has made some moves. So I guess, do you want to get into it? What the fuck happened today?
Oh my God. What happened yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
I was busy at work and I happened to look at lunch. I've been kind of keeping an eye because it seems like more and more closer the last couple of years, close to the deadline, trades have already happened.
Yeah.
It's no longer like this big event,
No.
which is as an older person, it kind of bums me out. It was like a big spectacle, but it is kind of nice sometimes where you're like, oh, I'll just check Twitter and see what happened. And I pulled it up and bam, Colorado traded for Sean Walker. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And so I was like scrolling to find the details and I accidentally bumped like the refresh button. Bam, Colorado traded for Casey Middlestat. And I was like, holy yeah. So since Kadri left after they won their cup, they have not been successful in finding a 2C. They went last year without it. They tried to run JT Comfort. Not a good fit. He's done okay in with the Red Wings, but he's not a 2C on a contending team. So that bit them, and they played it really safe last year at the trade deadline, and they acquired Lars Eller for a second-round pick, which I thought was way overpayment to be, I guess, their second-line center. I don't know, but like that dude's not a second-line center. He's barely a third-line center anymore. So it was. I kind of wasn't sure what to expect. In the offseason, they went out and got Ryan Johansson to solve their 2C problem. That guy's a bum. He's awful. I'm sure he's a nice dude, and I feel for him because he went from a cup contending team to he's going to be playing in the AHL overnight. But God, he was awful, and he just seemed lazy on the ice and maybe lazy in the locker room. So I thought maybe they would do something, right? Nathan McKinnon's having a Hart contending year. He's doing amazing. He's tearing it up. You don't waste years like that when you're in a cup window and you have a player like that putting the year on that he's had. So I thought they would make a move. It made a lot of sense. And I thought they'd go after like somebody like an Adam Henrique. I unfortunately wasn't one of the Colorado Avalanche people that freaked out when Edmonton traded, because the Colorado trades happened like an hour after. So I didn't even get to have the meltdown. I wanted them for the whole time, like last summer, 2 years, but like go and get a real 2C. It's easier said than done, but the one thing the Avalanche have in spades, and they have a lot of, is defensive depth. They can trade from a position of strength. They got some good young players, Mikhail Guliev and Sean Behrens, deep prospects that might make the NHL, Sam Malinsky. Like, those dudes can play. They have some depth, and they're playing Bo Byram on their third pair. Bo Byram's a great player.
Yeah.
And they gave up a lot in giving up Bo Byram. But they don't need him.
Yeah.
So They went and they did the smart thing, which I love because it's something that I would have done. It's not like this, oh, we're gonna win now, we're gonna get a 2C.
Well, and
for
you called
18
the
games.
Byram being part of the trade before.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, cycle back to that.
Yeah.
Because that's number 2 of me being right. So
Regular
yeah, they
Messiah
trade Bo
over here.
Byram, but they traded for a 25-year-old center, dude who's had a breakout over the last couple of years. I believe Casey Middlestat's for real. And he's a legit 2C. Is he an elite 2C? We'll see. We'll see what he's like on the Avalanche, but he's a good 2C. They don't need anything better than a good 2C. They have Nathan fucking McKinnon.
Yeah, their top line just dominates.
That dude wins games by himself.
Yeah. If you could have a stable second, third, and fourth line and just roll out the fucking punishing line.
Exactly. I mean, we have Ross Colton. He's a great 3C. He's awesome. They went and got him over the offseason. So trading Bo Byram straight up for Middlestat, honestly, there's a lot of people, Colorado fans, freaking out about how that's an overpay or they should have got more. I honestly thought that was a pretty fair trade. I thought Colorado was going to have to throw in something on top of that.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm happy with it. It sucks to see Bo Byram go. I love Bo Byram. He's a great player, but shit, I'm happy. Casey Middlestat's a perfect fit for Colorado. Above average skater, real good hands. He's a perimeter player and he doesn't play physical, but that's okay. He's going to be on a line with either Lehkonen or Nichushkin or Mikko Rantanen, or if he ever comes back, Gabriel Landeskog. Like, all those guys do is hunt pucks. Mikko Rantanen, he scores. But the other 3 of those dudes, they all just hunt pucks. They're relentless. They're net front presence. He can just do his thing. He'll put up 50-plus points next year. Easy. So I'm thrilled with that trade. I was so happy about that. So I kind of spent my time letting that one soak in. Really stoked about it. And then I was like, oh, okay, let's look at what the Sean Walker trade was. And I think in what they got in the Sean Walker trade is they got a deep man who is likely not high as ceiling as Bo Byram. Like, Bo Byram has a way higher ceiling than this guy and is going to have a long career in Buffalo. I hope he succeeds. But like, Sean Walker is better this year. He's better. So they had to give up a first. That hurts a little bit. It's a 2025, so it's down the road. Although 2025 is a better draft year. But it's top 10 protected. And I think that's an overpay for Sean Walker for a first-round pick. A little bit, not a lot. But I think the reason why they paid that is they dumped Ryan Johansson. They dumped his contract for this year. And more importantly, he has $4 million on the books next year. Gone. No longer a problem.
Yeah.
That's a price I'm willing for them to pay. It sucks that in the offseason they picked him up for free and now they have to pay to get rid of the guy. That sucks, but whatever. They got Sean Walker back, and that place is, when you put the 2 packages together, in my mind, out the door, you got Bo Byram and a first. And coming back, you got Sean Walker and Casey Middlestat. How can you be mad at that? That's great. That's just great business.
Well, and Colorado's built to go for on multiple cup runs, and that's the whole point of making these moves. Yeah. So it's not an emergency kind of thing when you're looking at teams who are giving firsts away. They know what they're doing. Oh, sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, Sean Walker, I think, is going to be a rental. I don't think Colorado can afford him, but whatever. Casey Middlestat's not a rental. They've solved their 2C problems likely for the rest of McKinnon's contracts.
Yeah.
Sick. So, and then I thought, I was like, that's great. They're making moves for today and the future. Smart moves. And then I got home and I saw they made 2 depth trades. And to me, that just tells me that Chris McFarland is pushing all his chips on the table. Saw what Vegas did and was like, not this year, Vegas.
Yeah.
And they went out and got Brandon Duham for a 3rd-round pick from Minnesota Wild. Not thrilled with the trade. I think probably a bit of an overpay. 4th-round pick, should have got that done. I'm fine with it on the surface, why they got the player. He's kind of a little bit of a black hole offensively, but he kills penalties really well. He's fast, and he lives to hit the shit out of everybody. And Colorado needs some of that toughness in the playoffs. They need lines that are hard to play against. And I think having Duham gives them 4 lines that teams are going to hate going through. They're going to be like, oh, God, there's no soft lines here. I got to go through that guy. So I like that. But I like the trade less because of the next trade, which I love, which is they went and got Yakov Taran from Nashville. They got a player, was it Graham Swart? I don't know much about him. Prospect, whatever. Throw-in pick. And they traded Jeremy Hansel, who I think was a good pick that they had. And he shows promise. He might play in the NHL in a bottom pairing one day. But that's not now. Colorado needs now. And they gave up a third-round pick. And I love this trade for Colorado because Taranen is awesome. He is like one of the best penalty killing forward in the entire league. And he is relentless, puck hound, and he has a knack for scoring big goals. I know because he did it against Colorado. And I hated him for that. But he's great. He's perfect depth. He's such a great fit. It's exactly what they need to do, right? Sean Walker, good penalty killer. Duhamel, great penalty killer. And Taranen, excellent penalty killer. And their penalty killing has sucked this year. And so they've made really smart moves. The question I have is like, now the Duham trade makes less sense than Taran. Why? Where are you going to fit these guys?
Yeah.
You got one too many guy because they got Kovalenko coming from the KHL. His team, I think, is like 1 or 2 games away from being eliminated. They're likely going to get eliminated. And he's coming over. And Chris McFarland addressed the media last night, and he's like, that guy's coming over to play in the NHL. So now you have 3 new dudes that you brought in. Yeah. Nichushkin is coming back any day from player assistance.
Right, yeah.
Did you just give up a third-round pick for a dude to be your 13th forward? I mean, I don't hate that they have that depth because injuries happen, but did you just give up a third-round pick for that? I don't know. I think I would have preferred them go after a 4C. I think they still need that.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see what happens.
I know Nashville's actually got quite a few good depth players there. They just can't put anything together on their shutdown lines.
Nashville's not a good team.
No, they're not.
They should burn that thing all to the ground. And they kind of did this weird half bill burn down last year.
Yeah.
And then they just got there like, hey, now that we freed up this money, let's just pay for a bunch of old dudes.
Yeah. Well, that's like
why don't we try the same thing that didn't work?
Yeah.
But hey, not my team, not my problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and a couple other big trades too. I don't know if you were kind of been keeping up with the Noah Hanifin trade.
Yeah, I saw the Hanifin trade, and fuck, the Knights are just going balls in. I mean, everyone called it when they put Stone and Eichel on LTIR because all of that money is just there. So everyone kind of knew it was going to happen, but like, fuck,
I hate it.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous that they're able to do that.
You know, if you're a Knights fan, like that must be a real fun time. Fun time. Because since they've been in the league, they've just been like, we're going for it.
Yeah.
And they've won a cup. And they're a fun team to watch. Yeah. The moves they make, they're exciting. They do not give a fuck about 5 years down the road. They're like, okay, take our picks. Yeah. We'll just go out and contend. And that's really cool because you don't really see that from a lot of teams, especially one that's an expansion team. Like, I know the Kraken are not very good, but do you see those guys making big moves? No, they haven't. They haven't really at all. So it must be fun to be a Vegas Golden Knight fan, but like, man, I hate the salary cap circumvention. Hey, power to them. They're following the rules, but I really think the NHL needs to do something about that.
Yeah, I don't know when it was when the post was released that I looked at, but if playoffs happened at the time of the post, it was Edmonton versus Vegas.
That's a bloodbath.
That would be a series to fucking watch, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I'd watch that for sure. Yeah. I'd spend some games on that one. How can you not?
I think there was also Colorado would have played Dallas, and the Jets would have played LA.
I hate Dallas has just had Colorado's number for years.
Yep.
Like the year before they beat the Cup, they managed to come back in Game 7 and win. And it's just like, how? Why? Yeah. Colorado was the better team. I mean, I guess not, but like on paper.
I think the Jets versus the Kings would be kind of funny just because of PLD, but That's just me.
Oh yeah, watch Velarde light it up while POD gets like disconnected controller syndrome in the defensive end. I guess just
Yep.
disappears off of the face of the earth. I love that trade still for the Jets. That's such a great trade. If you trace that back all the way to Line, like that worked out so well for them. They got bumped up in the draft because they won the draft lottery, and like it's been a long-winded thing, but like each time they traded, they upgraded somehow.
Yeah. Other trades that happened yesterday, the 6th. I guess we had mentioned the Oilers trade. What do you think about that?
Man, okay, so I have feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fine. It's a fine price. I mean, first round pick is...
Yeah, Adam Henrique from the Ducks in a deal that sends 2 picks to Anaheim and 1 to Tampa.
Yeah, and I mean, they got Sam Garrick too, who's a good, fourth liner dude.
Mm-hmm.
But like, why? Okay, you guys got Henrik. Good. Henrik's great defensively. He's still got gas in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
And he still puts up good numbers, and he's a good centerman. But like, why? You have Draisaitl. You have McDavid.
Yeah.
You have Nugent Hopkins. Like, I don't know.
They gave up
off the top of my head what their center depth is.
They gave up a first. They gave up a 5th in 2025, and they gave up a 4th.
Yeah, I mean that's okay. That's a little bit rich, but not really. It's a little bit of an overpay. I think they did that probably to get their man because Henrik was like the #1 center on the market. It's why I'm so surprised Colorado did what they did.
Yeah, he's also 75% retained though.
Sure. Who cares?
So, I mean,
like he's a UFA. It doesn't really matter. Like
yeah.
they paid some extra money for that. It doesn't really matter. You see salary retained.
I don't think he's going to be around next year though.
No, I mean, they can't afford him.
No.
But even if they could, like, my point is, why did they get him?
Yeah.
Don't they?
No.
Like, you could have used those assets to improve your fucking defense.
Yes.
Your defense is still a problem. Sure, Bouchard's great. Ekholm's been awesome for them. That was a good trade for them. But, like, dude, you're paying $9.25 for Arnell Nurse, who isn't terrible, but he's overpaid at that price.
Yeah.
And then... what do you got? You got a bunch of dudes. Like, you didn't think, like, hey, you know what? We could have taken that first and got Sean Walker.
Yeah.
Right? That would have been a legit top 4, dude. We could have taken our first and got Chris Staniff. What the fuck are they doing? No, let's get Adam Henrique, even though we have 3 centers that would be #1C on almost every team in the league. Like, Nugent Hopkins isn't, like, amazing. He's a great player. Yeah. He's a point-per-game guy. But, like, you're telling me that he wouldn't be top C on at least half the teams in the league? He would. So, you got 3 guys that can play #1C, and you decided, hey, instead of upgrading this defense that's been porous for the entire time we've had McDavid, let's just get another one. Sure. What?
Yeah,
I don't know what
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I know point totals in defensemen, that's not what all they bring. But if you look at like their point totals, like it's a complete drop off. Complete drop off. Like Darnell Nurse has 20 points in 60 games. That's not terrible. That's not great for $9.25 million when you're not actually that good in your own zone.
Yeah, you're not getting hat tricks like Cale Makar.
That was sweet.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. I was doing work and I was like watching in the background. I was like, oh my God, did it actually happen?
Yeah.
That guy's running out of records and first time things to do. He's just incredible. But anyway, my point being, going back to it, it's just baffling. I don't hate the trade. Like, it's fine. It seems like fair value. And I think I know what they're trying to do, but it just seems like a weird prioritization of holes to fill on your roster. Because they got some good wings. So, like, I mean, Henrik can also play in the ring. Great. Yeah. You got Hyman, who's put up 40-goal season. You got Evander Kane, who's still effective. What the fuck are you doing? Prioritizing another, 2C.
Yeah.
Over that defense that is questionable at best.
At best, yeah.
It's just a weird move. I don't like it, but
no.
Hey. It's it's weird. But maybe they felt like they needed him to fill out the top six on the wings. But I don't know.
and maybe
Feel
they'll
like they
maybe
could
they'll
have got
do
that
something
cheaper.
with it as well. In the off season. Oh God.
Yeah. But if they're, I just can't take them serious as a cup contender. That they're pushing all their chips on the table like Vegas has done, like Colorado has done, like Florida has done, right? Those guys are making moves to make their teams better. Maybe even you could probably toss Dallas in there. I mean, they haven't made a lot of big moves, but like they're prioritizing weaknesses. And I don't think Edmonton prioritized their biggest weakness.
No. They have the same issue that Toronto had, and I mean Toronto's been on a tear I think lately, but it's just the strength of the defense. Like you can outscore your opponent. I mean, look at fucking Matthews and Nylander or McDavid and Draisaitl. Like you can outscore your opponents, but part of the game is defense. So you got to have some players that you can rely on for that kind of play.
Yeah. I mean, just look at Toronto's D2. You're telling me those guys couldn't benefit from a top four defenseman?
It's okay.
Dallas already had 4, and they were like, fuck it, let's go get 5.
It's okay, though. They got Joel Edmondson.
Yeah, I don't hate what Toronto's done, because they've done a couple of moves to bring in, bottom pairing defense. And Joel Edmondson used to be good
I'm actually surprised they did something.
So they made a couple of moves I don't hate. They're pretty, they don't have a lot of cap to do a lot of big things. And I don't think after the last couple of years, I don't think they have a lot of blue chip assets left either. I'd have to check.
No, I think
they got their first round this year, but they're pretty cleaned out. They got a third round next year, or in 2026, I mean. But they're running into the same, like all those guys. Like you're paying what, almost half of your salary or whatever, and 4 dudes. Like it's going to be hard for them to add, other than on the fridges. But at least like they're doing it. I think they've added like 2 or 3 dudes that can play a role in their D in the last couple of days. Is it the flash and like the players that are going to make the difference between winning the cup? Who knows? But on paper, it certainly doesn't look like it. But it's certainly better prioritization than Edmonton's done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, like we were saying last episode, all you need is a ticket to play.
That's exactly it.
So
you make it in the playoffs, it's a whole new season, right? You're starting over.
Yeah.
And I think if anybody thinks any different of that, look at the Tampa Bay Lightning a few years back where they won, 67 games, and they got fucking swept by Columbus. Yeah. It was the year before they won their first cup. Or I guess their second cup, first cup of this generation. Teams can have an upset. All you got to do is win 16 games, and you got to do it in increments of 7 games, and you got to win 4 before the other team. That's possible.
Yeah.
Look, how many teams win the President's Cup and win the Stanley Cup that year? Not very many.
No. Other big trades. There was the Jake Gensel heading to the Hurricanes.
Is that official now?
Apparently, yeah.
They've been talking about it.
Yeah, I think it's official. Hold on.
I think it's happening. Oh, there it is. Yeah. They're still waiting on the details. It says, okay, so it's happening.
That's I think Pittsburgh is gonna have to just start offloading some of their assets to rebuild, because everyone's saying that it's just a team of mostly old men and Sidney Crosby on a tear. That it's not working, whatever they're doing. Obviously, Sidney's very frustrated. I saw an interview lately where for some reason I think the reporter was asking about losses early in the season. He wasn't having any of it. He's very frustrated, which obviously if you look at the Pittsburgh season, you can see why. But I'm curious what they're going to do in the offseason. I mean, obviously I mean, the trades have less effect for Pittsburgh now than down the line. I'm curious what they're going to do with it. It's kind of disappointing, though, to see that Sidney Crosby's still on a tear and still doing so well. I think he's 36 or 37. And that he's not going to be able to probably get another chance at the cup with this team. If he wants to actually have a shot at getting a cup, he's probably going to have to get traded. And I don't see Sidney Crosby getting traded from Pittsburgh. It's maybe that's just because he's been there forever, but
I think he's 37 at the end of this year. So Sidney Crosby is going to go down as one of the greatest players ever.
There's no argument in my mind.
And you go back to the whole thing, right? Like, even Gretzky was traded.
Yeah.
Sure. But, like, those are different circumstances. I don't think Sidney Crosby's going anywhere.
No.
I think he's going to finish his career out in Pittsburgh. And I think if you're Pittsburgh management, which, like, that's a stupid decision to let that dude, to trade him or let him walk or whatever. Sure, you could use that to rebuild, but, like, that's the face of your franchise. Not the face of your franchise for now, but, like, when you've had players like Jaromir Jagr and Mario Lemieux play on your team, and, like, Sidney Crosby's right up there with them.
Yeah.
You don't trade that guy.
No.
So I think probably what they're going to do in the offseason, and I think they're being smart about Gensel. Like, that sucks for Crosby. Gensel was a really good player. They had a lot of good chemistry. But it's smart because I think what you'll see them do is I don't think they're ever going to burn it down while Crosby's still effective. I don't think they will. No. And nor should they. Look at what he's done for their franchise.
Yeah.
Nope. But I think they'll retool.
Yeah.
And those picks will help them retool, and they'll sneak into the playoffs. Who knows? They might make some noise, but I think they'll be back in the playoffs on the fringes, or at least in the bubble next year. And I think they're going to use the deadline assets to kind of make that happen. But they got a lot of leaving contracts this year, like fringe players and secondary role players. I still don't, even when it happened, I still don't understand the Carlson trade. That was again the weird prioritization. Even at $10 million, where they've retained $1 million, like that dude is not the same. He's been pretty good in Pittsburgh, point wise. Like, and he was great last year for San Jose, putting up 101 points. But, like, $10 million could have done them a lot better, I think.
Yeah.
In holes in the rest of their roster. They have Letang. I think Graves is a good player, but he has not fit in well with them, and they gave him a boatload of money. I don't think they're role players, their depth and, like, third line and like shutdown players. They don't really have that anymore. So Sidney Crosby's doing great, but he's getting very little support. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't think Sid's going anywhere.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, he's having a fucking hell of a season, and it's kind of going just, like, under the radar. I haven't really heard much about it, but
the only thing I've heard is everybody being like, Sid's still good.
Yeah.
Go get him and put him with McKinnon as their 2C. That dream's dead now. Could have had the fucking Tim Hortons homies. Damn.
Yeah. What else did what came out today? Olivier's trade. Honestly, not a whole lot. Anthony Duclair got traded to Tampa.
Which, again, Tampa, I mean, they're always going to have a chance, but they have not looked good this year.
No. If it wasn't for Kucherov and Stamkos, I'm curious where that team would be.
I know. Kucherov is... I've been keeping a closer eye on him than usual this year because him and McKinnon are trading shot for shot. Yeah. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win the Art Ross this year, though. He's phenomenal player, but I'm just hoping McKinnon wins the Hart. Yeah. What was now? It's not really trade deadline, but there's been a lot of trades since, what is it, like middle of February type of deal. Like, What do you think? What's your favorite trade so far that you've seen?
Um,
Are you liking the Monahan trade so far? It's been a
I
month.
yes. I think there were a lot of skeptics, and I think fair play. He has history with injuries. He seems to have found his groove. He's been. I don't know if it was because of the trade or if there was a shift in the locker room, but I feel like the depth scoring has just kind of bolstered recently. I'm seeing a lot more plays off of players that don't typically perform offensively, which is great. So I honestly can't say I'm disappointed with the trade. Hopefully it sticks throughout, and I hope he's a good asset in the playoffs. I don't mind the price paid if he can keep the consistency out.
So here's a question for you, though. Knowing
Mhm.
what Edmonton got for Henrique, you guys paid more for Monahan.
Yeah.
Would you rather have had Henrique?
Mm, I don't know. That's a hard decision to make. Um, Probably for the price point, yes, because that's the one thing I've seen in the Jets community is people are pretty okay with him staying as long as he signs at a good price. And the Henrique contract probably would have been the better choice. But I mean, I can't complain if he stays around for a decent price. If he's not going to stay around for a decent price, then I'm hoping we can flip him to get something that'll help us in the future.
So I think he's an expiring UFA, so you're not going to
Yeah.
get shit if he
Oh
doesn't
fuck,
resign.
is he?
Yeah. I think he's
Nice.
only, yeah, 1 year. So kiss that dream goodbye. But
Okay.
here's what I think. I think Henrique's a better player, but I think Monahan has a good chance of sticking around.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to command too much. He's shown he's a serviceable player. I think he'll get like middle $6, and I think he'll stick around. And you know what? For Winnipeg, that's tough for them to get guys to stick around, and that's probably worth the extra third
Yeah.
round pick. What's yeah? So outside of the Monahan trade, what do you think was the most either exciting or smart move that you saw? Shrewd move.
Probably the Lindholm trade.
Although I hear rumors they're trying to trade him again.
Yeah.
What the hell is that even about?
I don't know. I think that one probably broke the hardest. This is kind of out of nowhere. That or I mean, I was watching the Hannafin trade because I was hoping the Jets would do something, but they didn't.
Yeah, you guys needed that.
Yeah, there's a few D that are still kind of floating as possibilities, but I don't know. Like you said, most of it happens before the day now. So once it gets to the end of day, like the day before, kind of worried about it. But I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow, and hopefully they make something happen. I know Dumba was in the conversation for people who are up for moves.
That dude's no good anymore, though.
No.
But maybe a change of scenery. Who knows? I doubt it, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope they figure something out. Again, like we were saying last episode, are they for real? Are they a cup contender? I think they've got an ability to go decently far in the playoffs. But I'm always of the mindset of, don't hope for too much, as that just leads to disappointment. So I hope for the best. Do I think they're going to get the cup? Probably not, because I look at all the other teams that are in the contending, and I don't know. I don't know if they have what it takes to get through that onslaught. Like,
So I think they're a contender, and I think they're
yeah,
for real this year.
yeah,
I think they have obvious holes in their lineup, but I don't think they're a powerhouse, right? Like you look at there's teams that are a powerhouse. Vegas, powerhouse.
yeah,
Colorado, powerhouse. Like even Toronto, like they have some holes, but powerhouse. Like
Yeah.
you got some good, strong teams. Florida powerhouse again. Bruins, even without any sort of center depth, powerhouse. Like
Mm-hmm.
you got like a lot of good teams this year that look like they're gonna gear up. Oilers,
Mm-hmm.
Canucks, which is
Oh
weird
yeah.
to say after last year. They look good this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're for real, but they're for real this year. The
Mm-hmm.
Rangers, Hurricanes, like those are all teams the Jets are gonna have to go through. Now the Jets have more points than those guys,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they have the better goalie than most of those teams, but I
Yeah.
just don't think they have as much depth, and they haven't really done anything. The Monahan trade was smart, but
Yeah.
I think they need to move for they need help on defense if they're gonna go the full 4 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Here's what I want to happen.
Mm.
It's when's the last time a good like a big goalie got moved at the trade deadline? It has to be like what, Ryan Miller to St. Louis? So I would love to see like Markstrom or maybe even Allmark get moved at the deadline. I think that'd be cool. Those are more off-season type of trades, but
Yeah.
hey, Colorado just did what's typically an off-season trade where they did a hockey trade 1-for-1. Or maybe UC Soros. That would be cool. I think that'd be fun. That would be crazy. I would be I would be going, holy shit, if that happened.
Yeah.
So goalie trade in season would be pretty crazy. But I think of what's going to happen, I think we're likely going to see Tyler Toffoli's going to go,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is probably a good move for Jersey, and I think we're going to see a couple other cats move that are probably like the favorites to go. Um, but I think most of like the big oh shit stuff has happened, and most of the other type of trades I think are going to be like the usual suspects where guys are UFAs on expiring deals playing for some shitty teams. Like they're probably gonna get moved, right? So,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to think like apparently here this is what I think is gonna be crazy is, and I hate to say this because I love Eric Johnson. I have to. But like that dude's washed, man. Like he looked not great last year for Colorado, and he has not been great this year. And he's making 3.25 million, 36 years old this year. He's 35 right now, and they're holding him out for trades. Like who the fuck's trading for that guy? Because apparently he's like wants to go to a contender. Great, which contender is trading for him? Really? I don't think anybody's serious. No offense to Winnipeg, like that would make sense.
Mm.
Stanley Cup caliber, and like he's
Yeah.
okay. But like that's not a dude you're putting on any of the top teams you expect to go all the way. So that would be weird. If that guy gets traded to like a real contender, I will be fucking floored. Because it's weird use of asset management, unless they're just trying to get, because he is a good leader in the locker room, unless they're trying to get
Mm-hmm.
somebody with like, hey, I've done it, But that one, that'd be my most surprising take for tomorrow.
Surprising indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I was bringing up a list. Article written by Chris Johnson. His trade board. Just some names that have been in the trade circles. Dumba's on there. Markstrom is
Sure,
on there.
Zucker probably.
Yep, Zucker's on there. Olmark's on there. Eric Johnson's on there. Ooh, Eric Bronstrom's on there.
That'd be an alright pickup.
Yeah. He's 24. He is an RFA. $2 million. So that actually wouldn't be a bad pickup for Winnipeg there.
Yeah, I'd like that move.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously depending what they would give up, but that seems like a decent fit for them.
Yeah, I think like every team lacks a right shot D man.
Not my team.
Most teams. Not your team though. Everyone gets taught to shoot left, I guess. I don't even know which way I would shoot because it's been so long since I was even on ice, and now I can't.
Well, if you're doing it the way you're supposed to, if you're right-handed, you're supposed to shoot left-handed. I'm
Yeah.
right-handed and I shoot right-handed, and I do not play hockey.
Yeah.
And that's not why. It's because I can't skate. But still, I would probably be pretty bad.
Yeah.
My kid started playing. He's right-handed. He shoots left.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of power under that. But I don't know. I don't think it's as big of a deal as people make it out to be. A lot of D-men play on their offhand.
Mm-hmm. Tyson Berry.
Do you need help on the power play? Because that's all you're gonna get. And you better strap him to a fucking shutdown defenseman.
Gonna say you would know more about his play style than I do.
Yeah, I love Tyson Berry. I was
Yeah.
sad when they traded him, but like that dude can't play defense. And he's a fucking defenseman. Like he's bad. He's really bad in his own zone. And he's not having a good year. And he's starting to fall off. Like in his prime, where he was like peak, almost a point per game, like crushing it. Awful in his own zone. God awful.
Okay.
So if you're the Jets, nope. Unless you're like, our power play sucks. We need somebody to quarterback that. Then sure, get him, make him your 6D. Do not play him in any D zone starts or on the PK. Put him on your power play, and you'll get some points out of him. But I don't think that's what Winnipeg needs.
Yeah, no, honestly, just looking at this list here, Eric Branston's probably the best option.
I like that trade. Sean Walker would have made a lot of sense for you guys too.
Yeah.
Tanev would have been an excellent fit for Winnipeg.
Yep. Yeah, two of the trades that I was looking out for just.
That's not terrible. It's just there's still some dudes out there.
Oh yeah.
But you're now looking like at the fringes. Most of the dudes who are going to make a huge impact here, most of them are gone, right? Like
Yeah.
the big
Most of the ones that
left are
wanted
like,
to move are gone.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the guys who are like UFAs, like usual suspects that are likely going to get moved are gone, and you're looking at like the top dogs being like Tyler Toffoli, maybe Patches from out of Washington. Like those are the dudes.
Yeah.
Like Zucker, Dumba, you start getting guys that aren't really going to move the needle. More depth pieces, which is fine, but like if you're looking to make a big splash, like Vegas did multiple times, like those dudes are gone.
It'll be interesting to see if there are any big moves tomorrow. We'll see if there's any ripples. What?
I said I'm hoping for one more. I think the Avs need a 4C. Or maybe a backup goalie.
Get a good tandem goalie situation going.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust Forgiev anymore. Giving up 4 goals every single game. But hopefully all the defensive ads they've made here, defensive-minded players will help. But yikes.
Yeah. Gonna have to bolster that up.
Jake Allen.
Yeah, I saw his name on this list as well.
I was like, was it like 2 weeks ago? My Twitter blew up and it was like, Jake Allen's going to Colorado. And then it was like, nope, just kidding. So I wonder if somebody was just making some shit up, or like they were actually in deep talk and they were like, you know what, fuck this, and they just bounced.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll never know.
Yeah. I guess we'll wrap her up there unless you have anything else to add.
No, I'm good, man.
Excited for tomorrow. Hopefully this comes out on trade deadline day. I'm gonna edit like right after this to make sure it goes up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let us know what kind of what you guys enjoyed about trade deadline. Let let us know if you wished for anything else to happen. And I guess we'll convene next week and see what happens.
I want to know, too, what you guys think is the wildest trade that went down and over the trade deadline period. I'm curious to what people think.
Yeah.
Knock your socks off trades.
Don't forget to like the video if you're watching on YouTube. Click all the links in the description. Brings you to all our socials and all our listening platforms. Aim for Theo's also tagged in the description down below. Go check them out. And yeah, thank you for joining me, Cody. And we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.